Hey guys, so in today's episode I'll be talking about a woman called Phoolan Devi. She has killed 28 men in order to take revenge on the men who did her wrong. She did not just stop there, she went on to become a politician, and till this day she is a legend. This story was actually requested to me by my mom. She was like, can you please do a story for Phoolan, because I do believe there's other people that should actually know her story and what actually happened to her. And I think she's a legend. I think you should think that she's a legend as well. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey guys, this video includes pedophilia and sexual assault. If that's not something that you would like to watch, then please click out of this video. Hopefully we'll meet next time. Bye. Now about Phoolan Devi, she was a mullah, which means like some sort of a caste or something. She was in a state called Uttar Pradesh. Anyways, so about Phoolan Devi, when she was 8 years old, she was playing and having fun, and truth to be told, Phoolan was actually a dark-skinned girl, and obviously in that time, in the early 1960s, it was normal for kids to get married at a very young age. So obviously, since she wasn't fair-skinned and all that, her dad thought that it was okay, and it was about time to let his daughter go and get married to her cousin who was like in his 30s. So Phoolan ends up getting married to a man who is also her cousin. Phoolan's mom was not okay with Phoolan getting married because she believed that Phoolan was only 8 years old. Sorry, what am I saying? She was only 11 years old, and it was too young. Her daughter's too young to get married to someone like her cousin who was in his 30s. And the father was like very adamant. He was like, no, she's getting married. Phoolan's getting married, whether you like it or not. She's dark skinned and no one will really like her. It's best that we just get her married off to someone who actually wants her. So in order to get married, Putilal offered 100 rupees, a bicycle and a cow in order to get married, and the deal was that he was going to come back after 3 years to take his wife. And at that time, Phoolan was 8 years old. So basically he came back again after 3 years, which means Phoolan was 11 years old at that time, and she was just playing with dolls. Her older sister actually came. I think it was one of her sister or cousins came out of nowhere and told her that she had to come with them. So she did. After she did, she wasn't okay with going back with Putilal. She literally didn't want to go back, and she was kind of requesting her mum that, oh, I don't want to go with my cousin, I just want to stay here. But of course it wasn't in the mum's hand to to make any kind of decisions. It was the father that was making the decisions. So he was like, no, you're going and that's final. So she did, and when she did, unfortunately, poor Phoolan, she was actually getting raped over and over again, to a point she cannot take it anymore, and she comes back. Actually, Putilal, her husband, returns Phoolan back because he's not returning his sexual favors. The kind of favors that he wants, she's not doing that. So he's like, I don't want your daughter anymore, take her back. Anyways, so Devi, she did come back, and then she also went back again like 3 times. And the 4th time, she was around 15 or 16 years old at that time. Her parents actually requested Putilal to take Devi back, and with that they actually gave some sort of dowry, land and all that. Devi, she really didn't want to get physical with him, and there was like so many problems. Anyways, she would come back on her own. She's like, I don't want to go back. And obviously the 4th time, when Devi's parents were like, oh, listen, Putilal, treat our daughter right, we're gonna give you this, we're gonna give you that, and he decided, he was like, okay, fine, I'll take her back, but she needs to stop running away from me. Anyways, she comes back again, and Putilal's mom's like, you know what, we're done, we're not taking your daughter anymore, we're gonna return the gifts. That she had to go to Toega. I don't know if I actually pronounced it right, but she had to go there because things were really bad for Phoolan. She was being harassed. She's a single woman, and not just that, there were people that was actually threatening Phoolan's parents that they will take her properties because she divorced her husband. Anyways, so things were really bad to a point where her mother, Phoolan's mother, had to send Phoolan to her cousin's place where he lived, called Toega or Tega, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Anyways, and the cousin is called Kailash. He was actually involved with a gang called Bagis. He was actually involved with this band. He would actually buy things for them, whatever they needed. Anyways, they became really close to a point where they actually started having an affair, which kind of Kailash's wife actually noticed that they were having an affair, to a point where Kailash was like, no, she's not allowed to stay here, she needs to go back where she came from. Which I kind of agree, but come on, things are already bad for Phoolan as it is. No, but yeah, come on. Anyways, so she ends up going back to her village. When Phoolan came back to her village, as I said, things were already hard for her. And obviously she was quite popular at the time because she was known as the divorcee. Anyways, so Phoolan came back to her parents' house. The village leader's son, the second son, was interested in Devi. And obviously when I say interested, he would actually throw hints at Devi that, you know, that he liked her. And Devi's like, if you like me, then get married to me. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but you like me, go on then. So he would be like, no, I don't want to get married to you. I just want to have sex with you. Anyway, so he kind of harassed Devi, as in touching her private parts, to a point Devi slapped him, and he actually started beating her up publicly. And not just that, he was also going around telling people that Devi wanted sexual favors for us. It was the other way around. So yeah, basically Devi got beaten up, and not just that, the village people, the head of the village, was forcing Phoolan's parents that Devi needs to leave. Anyways, it is the next day. There were actually people that came out of nowhere. They were like, oh, we're here to take Phoolan. Phoolan was actually trying her best. She was actually hiding from the gang because she in no way wanted to get involved with the gang, but they're like, no, we want Phoolan. Get Phoolan out. Parents actually tried to hide her, to a point where it gets so bad, one of a gang member took Phoolan's brother and was like, if you don't get Phoolan out right now, we're gonna shoot him. To a point, Phoolan was like, don't shoot him, I'm right here. Phoolan actually came out and she joined the gang. So while she joined the gang, there was this guy called Babu Gujjar. That's his name, Babu Gujjar. He ends up raping Phoolan repeatedly. Anyways, so while Babu Gujjar would rape Phoolan every now and then, Vikram was his second hand. So Babu Gujjar would always, wherever he had to say, he would always tell Vikram. And for some reason, Vikram actually started liking Devi. For once, he's like, this is just wrong on so many levels. No one has to live through this. No one deserves to live like this, right? This one morning, Babu Gujjar is raping Phoolan again. And obviously, he cannot take the scream and all that. So what he does, he takes a gun. And while he's raping her, he ends up shooting her. Shooting Babu Gujjar. To a point, he, shooting him on, on the head. I mean, he dies right then and there. Processing the fact that this man just got shot, this man ends up getting shot right in front of her. And not just that, she was also getting raped at the same time, and she had no time to actually, heal and all that, she had to move right then and there because there was police that actually was coming. So they had to move literally every now and then. So they were moving to places called Devaria, Kanpur and Orai. Vikram and Devi slowly falls in love. Anyways, Vikram becomes the leader of the group since Babu Gujjar's dead. Devi ends up going to her parents' house, and over there the father did not like the fact that Devi was here with a man, and not just that, she was not married, but she was just, really close with this man without marriage. So Phoolan's father was like, Vikram, don't get me wrong, but aren't you married? Why are you even with my daughter? To a point which irritates, Phoolan gets really angry, and she's like, oh, suddenly you're about morals and all that when you literally got me married as a child. And Devi's father's like, get out of my house. So she does ends up getting out of the house, and not just that, she's like, this wouldn't have happened to me if I was never married to Putilal. To which Vikram's like, okay, you know what, let's just go and take revenge on Putilal. So Phoolan was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah, let's go take revenge on Putilal, let's beat him up. So they end up going to Putilal's house. Phoolan literally drags him out of her house. Anyways, Phoolan ties him up and starts beating him up. She literally beat him up so bad to a point he was almost dead. And she literally put a sign on him, don't ever marry kids. If you do, I'm gonna come for you. Suddenly she's popular. Everyone kind of likes her, starts taking a like of her or something. And they also gave her a nickname called Dasyu Sundari. It means beautiful bandit. I think that's what it means, yeah. She was known as the Robin Hood. Because not just that, Phoolan actually helped a lot of poor people. Say the girls would almost get married, she would be there and stop the marriage. When it came to helping the poor people, basically she would rob from the rich people and she would actually help the poor people. That's how it was for her. Anyways, fast forward, Devi and Vikram's really in love, and they love doing their charity work of whatever they're doing. And suddenly the former gang leader gets released from jail, called Sri Ram Singh. He ends up getting released from the jail. Where's Babu Gujjar? That's what he asked for first thing. And Babu Gujjar was actually killed by Vikram because of Devi, right? So basically that infuriates him. He gets really mad. So what he does, he actually first meets Vikram Singh. So he actually first meets Vikram, and then he also meets Devi. And then when he sees that Devi's actually quite catch, he ends up starts taking a like of her, and you know, he gets mad that Vikram's got a lady by him, but he doesn't have anyone by himself. So what Shri does, Shri Ram Singh, what he does, he ends up shooting Vikram Singh, but luckily he got shot on the leg. And you know, Devi at that time, she had a gun, so she was threatening. She was like, if anyone comes near him, I will actually shoot you, don't come anywhere near him. Anyways, after 4 days, you know, they start taking shelter here and there, but people kind of recognizes them, and somehow someone gives them information about where they are. So they're literally on the run. They actually get Vikram Singh and they end up shooting him. And obviously Devi was also with Vikram at that time. What Shri does, Shri actually kidnaps Devi, takes her in a very remote area. Anyways, so then what they did, they repeatedly raped her, and you know, they were like, go on, bring some water. So she had literally nothing. She was literally naked. She only had a scarf, a black scarf, right? So they forced her to be naked, and she actually went to the well to collect water while she was actually naked, completely naked. Then the whole crowd was there. They said that the reason why they raped her was because she was a witch. That was the excuse, because she was a witch. Anyways, so Devi somehow managed to escape with a man called Mansingh. Anyways, she ends up making a group with Mansingh. In the next year, she goes back to the same village again. She was demanding the villagers and was like, you need to hand over Shri Ram and Lalla Ram and the rest of the men who raped her that day. Anyways, Shri Ram wasn't there. Shri Ram was somewhere else. Only Lalla Ram was there and the rest of the people. So she literally made these men stand in the line. Even the men who didn't rape her, she included them as well, only because they were related to Shri Ram. So Shri Ram and Lalla Ram, they were not in the village that day, and she was demanding for them. Since she couldn't find these men, since they were the one that started the whole thing, what she did, she literally made there were some of the men that actually raped her. So what she did, she made these men stand in front of a Yamuna river, and she shot all of these 22 men from behind. Out of 22 men, only 2 survived. She didn't really have that kind of support from the police while she was getting raped, and she knew that even if she does go to the police station, she's going to get denied any service, because honestly the police, I mean, in India is like corrupted. It was news that Devi killed 20 men to a point. Indira Gandhi, she was the prime minister at that time, she got involved and she was like, look, Devi, you need to come out because what you did is not okay. So she said that she will come out, and not just that, while she was actually hiding, everyone knows that she's the victim and she was actually getting shelter by poor people. And not just that, like her gang leaders were actually getting shot as well, since they weren't giving up any answers of where Devi was. So Devi was like, you know what, enough is enough, I'll just surrender myself, but there's a catch. Anyways, Devi surrendered herself in front of 8,000 people that were watching her, but Devi set conditions in order for her to surrender. And her conditions were no death penalty for anyone in the gang member that was involved with her, and everyone should get at least 8 years of sentence, no more than that. And her family should be given a land and a goat and a cow, and her brother should be getting a government job. She and her 7 men, including Mansingh, they both of them surrendered themselves. Anyways, charges were dropped for Devi Singh. She was only in prison for 3 years, I think, because of good behavior. And not just that, she ends up being a politician, and she was actually fighting for women's rights. But unfortunately, in 25th of July 2001, she was shot in her house, and that was the end of Devi Singh. But it is rumored that the people who killed her, people of Shri Ram, since she killed 20 of their men, so she was killed because it was a revenge kill. That's what it was known. Anyways, guys, this is the end of my story, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'm sorry if it was too much for you. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next story. Let me know what you guys would like to watch next, because I don't mind doing suggestions, so yeah.